Welcome to International Securities Exchange's podcast series. Facilitated by renowned educators, ISE podcasts are intended to teach beginning as well as seasoned investors the ins and outs of trading. To find an updated list of podcasts, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts. Please be sure to listen to our important message following this episode regarding the risks of investing in exchange-traded options.
As far as getting into advanced, like what Steve was mentioning, and that is definitely something that I am not an expert at, but you know, it's kind of, in my mind, it's kind of like becoming the insurance company. You're collecting premium, and you're trying to risk manage yourself so that when those, you know, I live in Florida, so to me everything's a hurricane. So when that hurricane comes, you've collected enough premium, and you've taken care of your risk to a certain degree where when these events come, these catastrophic events come, it's not going to put you out of business. So we all know how profitable it is being an insurance company. I've always likened writing or selling options to being that insurance company. And certainly if that's what you want to focus on and you have a good plan for that, there's certainly money to be made. But for me, I'm more of a speculator, and I'd rather focus on the market cycles and profiting from using options when the volatility is low and again selling it when it increases.
That makes sense. You know, and again, I think what Raghee's saying is you got to look deep inside yourself and find out what kind of person you are. As Raghee said, sellers, they're like insurance companies. But remember one thing, an insurance company didn't become this large insurance company overnight. They started out small, and then they grew. So, again, you're thinking you're a small investor or whatever, like most of us are. You're not going to go out there and sell naked options and earn millions of dollars without tremendous risk. So think of that. Ilian, do you have any points? Otherwise, we have a couple more questions, and then we're going to have to call it a day.
I would just quickly add to that to me, I'm also indifferent. Buying or selling, it will depend on the direction of the trend. I would also add that in trading, there's not the word safely. I don't know if we can really use that word because nothing is written in stone and nothing is guaranteed, and nothing is guaranteed to be safe in all of our trades. So perhaps we can try to take trades that involve a lot less risk compared to others where you have higher probabilities for success, but I wouldn't call any strategies to be the absolute safe strategies.
Great point. Great point. All right, one or two more questions, and I'm going to throw this question out to both of you. You could, whoever feels it, or you both can answer it. All right, I'll start. Well, I'm just going to throw it out there. Let's see. This Steve wants to know the best tutorials or programs for. And again, we don't know the word best, but let's just say, can you recommend any tutorials or programs for learning Forex basics? And then the options market, of course, I would recommend optionseducation.org, or of course the ISE, because we do so much options education. But if you guys know any programs, Raghee, I think maybe you have a program, or do you know them?
As far as learning the basics about Forex?
Yes.
You know, quite frankly, if you're a brand new trader, and I saw earlier on the Q&A there was a question about, what is a PIP? I send people over to one of two sites, and I don't have any affiliation with either one of them. You can head over to IBFXU, that's Interbank FX University, or Baby Pips. I think from a Forex standpoint, Baby Pips has got a great newbie, beginners, free education when it comes to options. I like the ISE website a lot in terms of getting more information about the FX options, but there are a lot of tremendous free resources, and I tell everybody, exhaust the free resources first, the IBFXUs and the Baby Pips of the world, and then eventually you'll start finding that you might meet a personality on the internet or at one of the expos, and if you like what they have to say, my advice is always go home and Google them, because I know if you Google my name, you'll have more video and articles available online for free than you probably ever really wanted, and it's a great way to get your education started, because the truth is, once you get beyond the foundation, the actual strategies that you're going to be using, you should find someone who's got a similar outlook as you. If you're a fundamental trader, don't go learn from a chartist like myself. If you like a lot of systems trading, go find someone who's a good back tester and a systems trader. Try to find someone who's wired like you.
That makes sense. Ilian, any kind of recommendations on learning more about FX? What is a PIP, all the way through the most advanced kind of strategies that investors could implement?
Well, I have to say a little disclaimer because I am actually associated with these websites. I actually own them, but there are free tools that are available on allthingsforex.com.
It's excellent. I've worked with Ilian for over a year now. He has a lot of great data there, so definitely check out allthingsforex.com. I'm sorry, Ilian.
No problem. You can find them under Forex Market Basics on our homepage. Towards the bottom of the page, there's 3 PDF files there: Quick Introduction to the Forex Market, the Basics of Foreign Exchange and Trade, and also all about foreign exchange. And they basically are direct links to the PDF files from the Bank of New York, the Federal Bank of New York. So this is information that a lot of professional traders, when they get educated, actually use. I agree with Raghee. IBFX, Interbank FX on their website, that IBFX University resource is great. I mean, it's a great course. Actually, we just had a conference call with representatives from IBFX, and we'll have that whole section of their website iframed into All Things Forex very soon, in the next month or so.
Oh, that's great, Ilian. That is great.
I really like that content that they have, so I would definitely recommend it. And really quickly, if I may add to that, I don't want it to sound like a sales pitch or heavy promotion or shameless promotion, but recently we started a new website called TraderTape.com. And on TraderTape, it's just like YouTube, but for traders. And there's a lot of good content, a lot of trader videos and investor education there. And I would recommend that as a source as well if you wanted to sit back and basically watch the video tutorials.
And I've been there too, and that is another great site. Thanks, Ilian. All right, let me take 2 or 3 more questions. One would be for me. Margaret wants to know, please compare over-the-counter FX options offered by some brokerages compared to exchange-traded FX options at the ISE. And I don't know a lot about the OTC market that's offered by those exchanges, but scares me a little bit because being a listed options trader for so many years, I respect the idea that the markets are publicly disseminated. They're transparent when I'm talking about the ISE. So I think whether you go, anything that's exchange listed to me is superior because I just think there's a lot more integrity there rather than the OTC market that you really don't know what the real market is. In fact, there's not as much regulation, and so therefore there isn't as much integrity. And I think that the exchange-traded ones, in my humble opinion, are just way better. But again, I'm a little bit biased because I've been at the ISE. I know how the bid-ask spreads are so tight, and we are regulated by the SEC. So I think that you should try to go and try to learn as much as you can. But those other sites, they're trading with your orders, and we at the exchange would never trade. We can't trade with your orders. So you can draw your own conclusions with that. Question from Elaine: can you please talk about exit strategies as separate entity from entry ones? I think we covered a lot of that. Although if you guys want to quickly chime in one way or another and talk about that, and then there's one other question from Elaine. What strategies do we use for risk control? So, Raghee, do you want to take either of those, and then maybe Elaine will also chime in?
Sure. I think as far as exits go, I got to go back to my point of validity, which is there's only 2 kinds of exits. You're either going to be looking at some sort of stop loss, whether it be risk-based, break-even, or trailing, and your profit targets.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. To find more podcasts on options, stocks, alternative markets, and market data, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts.